struck him out.
2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Walk the ball. Chris Taylor.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Scott Geirman, senior writer, Dodger Blue. I'm here with my good buddy Blake Williams for some pre-game playoff work. How we doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Been a busy morning with all the playoff stuff and all the interviews and everything that's come out so far. But yeah, I mean, a lot to talk about so far now.
It's good to have the duo on here. Pre-game. Guys, chat. We promised you'd we'd be on here twice in one day. We said it. I told you we'd be on here in the morning. I said we're going to keep a lookout for a little pre-game work. We're on here. Roy, Laura, we appreciate you guys. Kenny, everybody, thank you so much. We've got a busy night here. We've got a busy pregame. The biggest news of today, right now, Blake, hit me.
Freddie Freeman is in the starting lineup. It was a question as of about probably an hour ago, and just kind of broke that he's going to be in there when the Dodgers announced it. What was that, 10 minutes ago now or something at this point? Yep. So, yeah, it's good news for the Dodgers. I think there's still a lot of questions to be answered about how limited he's going to be. Is he going to be able to move on his ankle well enough? But if Freeman feels comfortable enough to be playing through the pain and the Dodgers feel comfortable enough to let him go out there and play, it's good news for them.
And I think that was the biggest part. Like, a lot of videos come out. I know Matt's at the stadium. He's doing, you guys are doing a great job of putting stuff out as quick as it goes at the stadium. Freddie Freeman was out there doing his pregame work. The biggest news was that he had one more box to check. He was going in to do some pregame work with the Traject machine. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Doing with that, and that was kind of the last box to check. Other than that, Max Muncy was taking some field, some ground ball work at first base just in case, getting every single person ready, just in case they had to shuffle some stuff around. I, tweeted out that if Freddie Freeman wasn't able to go, the Kike Hernandez playoff reign was going to begin early. But thankfully, Freddie Freeman feels good enough to go. He looked, solid. I know Matt tweeted out that Freddie looked kind of the same that he did last night at the scrimmage and the pregame stuff, or the days prior in the buildup. Just make you feel more hopeful that Freddie Freeman was able to give it a go, or do you think he's just going to play through this?
A bit of both. He said it himself. It's the worst injury he's ever tried to play through. And when the doctors diagnosed it, they said normally it's going to take a month to a month and a half to heal. And he's getting back in the lineup a week later. So I think there is still concern there. We actually have to see him play on it. If there's a ball hit to him and he has to dive for it or something, or move a few steps, it's going to be interesting to see how that affects him. He's probably on some pain medication to get through it, and I'm sure it's wrapped up and all that. So hopefully they can just manage it for 3 hours each day, essentially. But it'll be real interesting to see. And I think we all knew, in the back of our minds, Freeman would be in the lineup and he was going to play through it regardless. I think it was Vassay who said, one of the teammates said that he would need to have his leg cut off essentially to be out of the lineup. So we knew Freddie was going to be in there, but it's still going to be real interesting to see how he plays and how it affects him.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've said for days, and since he got hurt, it was going to have to take everything in him. It would have to be devastating for Freddie not to give this a go. It's just who he is. He's like the Iron Man. He wants to be out there every single day. So it was crushing when you saw him get hurt. It was reminiscent of the Max Muncy injury. Thankfully, Freddie can give this a go. It's just a matter of how limited will he be. We spoke, on Thursday night, talking about, we believed he'd be able to give it a go if he could. But it was a matter of, is he going to be able to leg out these doubles? Can he go for, take an extra base? Can he go first or third, first to home? It's all going to be under the microscope tonight. So we'll definitely keep monitoring that, but his bat to ball, his mind, his eye for the game is something that is sorely needed in the heart of that Dodgers order here. I've joked that if I rolled an ankle, it takes me a long time to recover. I hurt my back. It takes a long time to recover. 31, then, nothing gets better. 30 years old, man. Blake, you're a youngin'. You don't know yet. Everybody in chat will understand.
I'm getting there pretty soon here, so a few years from now.
That's how it goes. So biggest thing from Freddie Freeman tonight, what is his insertion, in the heart of this Dodgers order? What does this do for them?
Provides them more stability in the middle of the order. I know Kike has been a good postseason performer, but there is a difference for the opposing team when you're seeing Freddie Freeman in the lineup versus seeing Kike Hernandez in the lineup. Like, no disrespect to Kike, but Freddie Freeman has that aura about him. He is a superstar in the game, and pitchers are scared of facing him. It provides protection to Mookie and Shohei at the top of the lineup, and they need him to be good this series. We know last year Mookie and Freeman both didn't hit, but if they can get one of them to hit with Ohtani doing what we know he can do, this team's going to be really good and dangerous in the postseason. So we talked about like the X factors and everything. Might be Mookie and Freddie Freeman this series, because I think we're all pretty confident Ohtani is going to hit. I think a lot of us believe Teoscar is going to step up in the moment. The back of the lineup is a lot better than it was at the start of the year. So like Freeman and Mookie, there's a lot of pressure on them this year to get the job done. So if they can do that, the Dodgers are going to be really good.
Absolutely. We'll do quick, we'll go through it. You guys, if you missed the starting lineup, it's usual stuff that we're going to see. Ohtani DH, Mookie Betts in right field. Freddie Freeman is giving it a go at first base. He is in the starting lineup. Teoscar Hernandez in left field. Max Muncy at third base. Will Smith behind the plate. Gavin Lux gets the start at second base. Tommy Edman in center field. And Miguel Rojas. Miguel Rojas in the 9 spot. That's a key guy. He's been so good with runners in scoring position. When we were on the other night, I emphasized how he's almost batting 400 in the last 2 months, since the start of August, with runners in scoring position. I think it's like 379, 380, somewhere around there. Just a key piece to this lineup. Having those bookend guys there, Miguel Rojas, Shohei Ohtani, be able to turn that lineup over with Miguel Rojas being so bat to ball right now and giving you at-bat quality. I feel like, Blake, when you're looking at those numbers, when we're talking about runners in scoring position opportunities and how the team has been playing well as a whole, as a unit going into it, is that a little bit different from years past? Do you see something different with this offense going into tonight?
Yes and no. Like, I think they've been pretty good with runners in scoring position this year, and I know there's a lot of flack given to them when they don't come through, but every team's going to go through those stretches like we've talked about a ton. We've seen when Shohei Ohtani is completely locked in, it feels like they're driving in every run they put on base. So hopefully that continues. But I also think back to last year where they led Major League Baseball in runs. They set a Dodger record for runs scored, and then the postseason came around and they did absolutely nothing. So while I'm confident in this team, you just never really know what's going to happen until it does. Like, we can make all the guesses, put all the stats up, say everything's trending the right way, and then it just doesn't come together. Or we've seen teams like roll into the postseason with nothing going right, and then they just turn it on in an instant, like the Diamondbacks did last year. So it's so hard to say. Like, things are going right for the Dodgers, and I have confidence in them. But we could look back on this in a week and say, well, what went wrong?
Yeah, for sure. And it starts right at the top, buddy. And we'll click this right into, the big talking points from today. This is Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto postseason debuts here. Yamamoto's played in a lot of big games prior to coming to the MLB. Shohei Ohtani, everyone, fans, we got to see his stuff, his leadership in the World Baseball Classic. Shohei Ohtani has had 3,119 at-bats, and not one of them has come in the postseason. That's, all of his stuff, everything he said, childhood dreams leading up to tonight, his play, he elevated it. He exceeded expectations. Yamamoto, same type of stuff. We're waiting to see, kind of this post-injury, how he can do. He's faced the Padres a few times early in the season, hasn't recently. With Ohtani, though, from him, I think that the engine starts there. That's where it's going to be at, and the rest of the tone is going to stay right there.
Yeah, I think so. I think with both of them, they're very important for this game. If Yamamoto gets them off to a good start and keeps them in the ball game, they're going to be in a good spot. If Shohei is doing what he's been doing for the last month and a half or 2 months, like, they're probably not going to lose many games in the postseason, and especially not tonight with these two guys. That's why they went out and paid them a combined $1 billion this offseason. Like, these are the guys that you are putting your season on and counting on. And I think the Dodgers have a lot of confidence in them. I have a lot of confidence in them. I think every fan should have a lot of confidence in them. And this is what the moments are made for. Like, these are your superstars. It's October now, postseason baseball. they got to go out there and do the job.
Yeah, and with Yamamoto, the month of September, coming back from injury here, in his 4 starts, he's only logged 16 innings. Any concern about that? Like, the deepest he's gone in those 4 starts in September is 5 innings, and his most recent one went 71 pitches here, allowed 2 earned runs. Any concern there? What are you from Yamamoto? What are you looking to see from him tonight against the Padres, who have seen him earlier in the season and then once in Korea? What are you looking to see him build off of from this? That September, it's been abbreviated.
I'm not too concerned about the innings or anything, or the pitch count being shorter last time. Dave Roberts has said he expects him to be available for about 100 pitches throughout the postseason each night. So if he can do that, he can probably give them 6 innings or around there with how good he can be. If his command is on and he's efficient, like, he's going to be in for a good night. His stuff is great. I expect the velocity to tick up a bit like we saw in New York, because most postseason pitchers do get that velocity increase with the adrenaline. So if he's going to be doing that, like, I'm really confident in him, and like, I have a lot of faith in him throughout the entire postseason, like I've been kind of preaching throughout these last few days.
Yeah, we've seen his arsenal expand here, and it's been great to see. He's confident. Moving him up to the 1, I believe we've talked a bunch, and in the weeks prior to this, about how we thought that it opens him up for more possibilities later in the postseason, back end of this NLDS, then opportunities in the NLCS. Things continue on if they make it past this round here. With Yamamoto, though, do you think there's any carryover from his starts against the Padres earlier in the season, or do you think there's enough time removed and enough development in his game and with his stuff, working with the Dodgers pitching coordinators, all of that, to give them a completely different look from what they've seen before?
Yeah, I don't think there's any relation to what happened early in the year. His first start was really bad, but he was playing in his 3rd country in the last few months. Like, it was very early into spring training still, so he didn't have the full build-up period. Working with new catchers, still adjusting to life as a major leaguer. Like, he didn't know English pretty much at all at the time, so trying to communicate with teammates and catchers is a whole process. There's just so much going on early in the season that I don't put any stock into it. As he started to settle in, he kept getting better and better, and I think he's going to be completely locked into this game, and he's going to step up and meet the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we're going to keep this pretty open-ended today. We're going to, guys, I don't know how long Blake and I will be on here. We're going to just vibe with the chat and kind of how long time willing until I've got to head out here. But we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to get in some expectations here and some chat about Dylan Cease, because the Dodgers just got to see him, and they've seen him twice this year. And both of those starts were not really pretty. I'll be honest with you. I believe I had them pulled up here. And this was one of them was from July 31st. He has 16 swing and miss. And the other one was from September 25th, most recently. 20 whiffs. He's he's basically a 2-pitch guy. Does not matter. Right-handed, left-handed. He's very similar. He's just going to go a lot of slider, a lot of four-seam fastball. He's going to elevate in the zone. He's going to stay right at there. One of the pitchers still who just pumps the top of the strike zone here. High velocity fastball, reaches upper 90s for sure, averaging about in his last thing about 97, sitting right there. With Cease, is that familiarity just because, man, like, we're talking 10 days removed from this start. Now, is there a carryover from that? Is that getting that look there from a 2-pitch guy? Give a little bit more, give a little bit of edge to the Dodgers just because.
I do think it benefits them more. I'm not sure how much. You hear major league players talk about it a lot, that getting a live look at a pitcher is going to help them down the line later. And since it is a lot more recent than the Padres saw Yamamoto, and he has a smaller pitch mix than Yamamoto has, I do think that'll play into it. I'm not saying like Cease is going to come out and get lit up in the game or anything like that. He's still a really good pitcher, and he's tough to hit for a reason because his 2 pitches are really good. Yeah. But I think the Dodgers can make the adjustment and end up hitting him well. I think they're prepared for it. They know what the game plan is. I think where you could see things start to get mixed up is if the Padres and Cease kind of mix up their game plan, which is something teams have done in the past against the Dodgers in the playoffs, which is what ends up affecting them usually, where they don't end up making the adjustment back quick enough. something Merrill Kelly talked about, and Andrew Friedman addressed that in his press conference the other day. So the Dodgers have to be able to make the adjustments quickly if Dylan Cease does end up making adjustments against them. But if he doesn't, I do believe they're going to be patient enough and know what to wait for and hopefully get the job done. And if you can get 3 runs off the board against him in 4 or 5 innings, I think you're going to be in a pretty good spot overall.
Yeah, I agree. He's max effort guy all the time, but because his usage is so, I'd say it's the variability of what he's done on the year. He's 44% four-seam fastball, 43% slider. And I think he manipulates shapes. He pounds the zone. He's going a lot of swing and miss there. Teoscar Hernandez is someone I know has had almost no success for him. He's 1 for 11 in his career against Dylan Cease. I'm going to open it up to, kind of career stats against Dylan Cease. I know this is stops along the way when Cease was with the Chicago White Sox here. But Kike Hernandez is 5 for 12 against him. Freddie Freeman, 3 for 9. And then Shohei Ohtani is 4 for 15. So some of these guys have seen him, for over 10 at-bats. And, 3 of them, Freddie Freeman right there. Teoscar Hernandez hasn't had much. A lot of swing and miss there, but that's to be expected. I think same thing with Yamamoto. His ERA in the first inning is high. Dylan Cease has about a 6 ERA on the season in the first inning. So I think that before you allow him to settle in, just like they're going to have to do against Michael King, same thing the Padres are going to do. I think they need to come out, be swinging early. You need to try to attack him before he gets settled in here, before he has a chance to really hone in on his stuff there, find the proper tunnels that he likes. You kind of with me on that?
Yeah, I think so. I think getting out ahead to an early lead is going to be huge for either of these teams. We know they both have elite shutdown bullpens that they can rely on. So if a team gets the lead first, it's going to be really tough for the opposing team to come back. So that could be the difference in the game, and we'll see. Of course, bullpens can also end up blowing games. So I'm not going to say like an early lead is going to essentially win the game, but I think it's going to be really important for both of them, because we know what both bullpens can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for Dylan Cease, I mean, he's shown the ability to go distance. I think he had a no-hitter this year. So he's world-class type of stuff. He's got ace-level stuff here. But in the games that he does go just 5, he's around the 100-pitch mark. So he's max effort. He's going to, I'm not saying chase the swing and miss here, but he's a strikeout stuff type of guy. He's going to pump the zone. He's going to throw a lot of pitches here. So if you can work those counts, if you can lay off the slider, if you can lay off the fastball up in the zone here, and hopefully the umpire's not giving him, right or above top part of the strike zone, I think the Dodgers can make it happen. I think Mookie Betts is someone who I'm going to keep an eye on today. I think Shohei Ohtani, same thing. Fastballs up and away, take it. Same thing with Freddie Freeman. I think fastballs up and away for Fred are going to be a big thing for him. I'm going to stay right there. Tommy Edmonds, someone who I think he'll find himself in a spot where I'm going to hope that he puts bat on ball there against a righty and doesn't have a swing and miss there. But with Ohtani, Freddie, I think fastball up and away against the righty, something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for sure. Take that the other way. Cease is going to provide the power. Just meet it where it's at. You just got to see him. You got to see him make a lot of pitches here. Any predictions from? Yeah, go ahead.
I think it'll be important for the Dodgers to be patient and take their walks. I know in the past a lot we've talked about wanting them to be more aggressive in the playoffs. Last year, it felt like they were always down 0-2 before they were actually swinging the bat, or 1-2, 3-2, whatever you want to say. This year, against Dylan Cease, I think it'll be important to be patient and wait for the right pitch. If you end up chasing his slider, you're not going to be able to hit him at all. That slider is just an unhittable, filthy pitch. So you got to get the fastballs in the right counts, be aggressive against the fastball, be patient against the slider, and just set yourself up to have good at-bats.
Yep. In his last 30 and a third, he's had 10 walks here, 27 strikeouts. So for sure, sub 1 whip, he's going to get the strikeouts. If you lay off, he's going to walk. You've got to take advantage. You got to take make the most of those opportunities, because you do not know how many they're going to be, for sure. So I see people asking what channel is the game going to be on. I believe it's Fox Sports 1. I think that's where it's at tonight. First pitch is at 5:38. Expectations, any predictions for tonight, Blake? And then I want to get your thoughts on the roster, kind of what we saw come out earlier. Any of those surprises there? What are you looking to see? Any wild guesses about someone who can have an impact that we might not be thinking about?
There's a lot there. Let's go. My predictions. I'm saying the Dodgers end up winning. I'm going to go 5-3. The unexpected impact. That's a tougher one here. I'm going to go with Teoscar. You said he was 1 for 11. I know he's a good player, so it's maybe not so expected, but with his pass against East, we can say he's due for a hit. We know Teoscar steps up in the big moments, so if we see a Teoscar homer, you can come back, join our post-game show, and give me some credit for that one. But, yeah, was there another question there?
No, that was it. You said the unexpected performer, Teoscar Hernandez. It's someone that we've labeled as the X factor kind of all year. He's going to hunt pitches. This is someone who we think the profile works perfectly for October there. He's not afraid. He's not afraid to go up there and strike out. I know that's not always the best recipe for a lot of fans, someone who's going up there just going to free swing. But that's where you have those moments. That's where you have those, those big boom moments where you're hunting for a pitch. And if Cease hangs the slider, in the zone there, leaves a fastball in a hittable spot, I understand why you're coming from that spot there. For me, are you on the Will Smith thing? Are you buying that too? You buying that Will Smith's going to be the performer?
I could see it. I mean, this lineup is so good. I feel like anyone could be the guy who steps up. Like if we're talking post game, how Gavin Lux went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a single and 3 RBIs or something, I wouldn't be surprised. If we were on the show and said Tommy Edman was the guy who came through, wouldn't be surprised. Like,
yeah,
if it's Ohtani, like definitely wouldn't be surprised. It's just up and down the lineup. I could really see anyone being that guy, which is why I'm so confident in this team moving forward, as opposed to last year where it was guys like David Peralta starting in the lineup and James Outman, who was playing terribly at the time again. And they just had a lot more question marks last year. Even Miguel Rojas wasn't performing at the same level offensively last year that he is this year. So it's just such a huge gap in the difference in the quality of the lineup.
Let me see here. Someone said Will Smith has great numbers against Dylan Cease. Career-wise, Will Smith is 1 for 9. So I don't know where you're getting that. That's okay, though. I won't hold it to you. He's a tough pitcher. He's a tough pitcher to game plan against. You know what you're getting, but you still have to hit it. Fastball, slider, you can expect that. It's just about how he manipulates shapes. He pumps top zone, high velocity. You've got to get on it. Tons of ride there. I would have loved to see Kike Hernandez in there just for the postseason vibes. I think Mookie Betts is going to be, again, he's going to have to be that, that 1A, or 1B X factor. He's got to show up because Shohei Ohtani is going to bring the mentality here. You're going to see him be aggressive. You're going to see him at time. He's going to do both. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to be patient. He's going to go ahead and he's going to prove to everybody like this is he for the moment? Definitely for the moment. People are saying Tommy Edman. Chat, let me know, who you guys think is going to be who's going to be the X factor. I want to see some. If you can take the big names, but I want to see some Tommy Edmans. I want to see some Rojas's in there because you're going to get a spot with runners in scoring position where you're going to need some bat the ball. And against a guy like Dylan Cease, who can for sure, toss up 20 whiffs in a game, just like he did in the most recent outing, it's going to be tough. But I think it's going to be right at the top. You're going to have to see the stars play their hearts out. You're going to have to make it happen. And I need what Dave Roberts said about if these guys are not leaving every single game emotionally spent, then they're not working hard enough. They're not playing hard enough. Is that going to work out? We'll see. But how long has it been since the Dodgers went into a playoff series where it felt like they were the underdog, Blake?
Probably a while.
Long time.
They definitely weren't versus the Diamondbacks. They weren't versus the Padres in 2022. Maybe it was kind of a toss-up in 2021 with the Giants. I don't think anyone had two hot takes either way for that one. It was 106 versus 107 win team. 2020, I don't think there's any point where they were an underdog.
Yeah.
2019, maybe against the Nationals, but still probably not. What was 2018 NLDS? Was that the Braves again?
Oh, man. Somebody's going to somebody's got that. Somebody pull it up.
I feel like it was Braves that year.
Yes.
Maybe, yeah, okay.
It was the Braves. Yep. That was the David Freese. Yeah. Manny Machado.
Then 2017, Diamondbacks definitely weren't. 2016, I don't remember 16. That might have been Cardinals. So maybe that one.
Long time.
The Cardinals.
Story, long time. Very far and few. Does it? If the Padres, we've talked about how, and the media's picked up on it. Big media's picked up on it that the Padres look and have a feel of a complete team because of their, deadline additions here. Lineup to back it up, starting rotation. They lost Musgrove, and it still feels like they have the edge with starting pitching there, just because they have Michael King, Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, and then you bring in Martin Perez as your 4, and then you turn it over to the bullpen here, that's been hit a little bit recently, but you can't count them out at all. You really can't. Like, they brought in a couple guys. They brought in as a multi-inning guy here, and they have Morahone out there who can definitely be solid against lefties. He's been terrific this season. So they've got a ton of stuff. Tanner Scott, that against those lefties, that's where Kike Hernandez is going to have a big time thing here. Rich, you can get the hat on 47. Yeah, it's one of those. Instagram ads got me. Blake knows.
Real quick.
You guys ever want? Yeah. Huh?
Last time they were underdogs was 2018 versus the Red Sox in the World Series. Wow. They were definitely the underdogs that year.
Wow. It's a long time. Shout out to 1,000 in here. We appreciate you joining us for some pre-game stuff. Toss in some, if there's any super chats, anything you guys want to get off your chest, anything you want to rally, if you're just rooting it on, toss that up there. We appreciate you. We'll turn the conversation over to you guys. But if there's anything pressing, type all caps question or comment, just do all caps that, and we'll bring it up, let that carry it for a little bit. I think we've got about another 25, 30 minutes in here. John, first one, he says, Max Muncy goes deep tonight. Playoff experience, wealth of it. Max Muncy, somebody you've got your eyes on tonight. Big time fastball stuff. You're going to have to get on top of it. That's something you could see.
Yeah, for sure. Like I was saying earlier, I could see anyone in this lineup being the guy that steps up. And Muncy kind of came into this series a bit cold to end the year, which, knowing postseason baseball, he's probably going to be the guy that heats up just because that's how it always goes. So, I mean, I could see it. Muncy is the guy who's always come through in the big moments in the postseason. He never shies away from the moment. He has the dog in him. We can go with Muncy as one of those guys. So, yeah, I mean, he's not going to get beat by the moment.
Man. Peter says, I wager 1 crone to your zone. I'll say it, Blake. A crone zone. Can he do it any better?
I think the crone zone is a fun thing.
It's hilarious. It's a funny saying. Calling Max Muncy grand slam like in 2020. Hallelujah. That's a big one. Any man. What's the update of the Mets score? Guys, the streets telling me the Mets took the lead.
Last I saw it was 5-1. Yeah, they scored. Okay, it's top 9. They scored 5 in the 8th inning. So
wow.
Yeah. The Phillies bullpen could be their downfall.
That's a grinding, man. That's a grinding. Offense is hot. Guardians showed that the layoff doesn't matter. Dodgers better not. I'll fume. Phillies are going through it. Same thing. I don't know if we're going to get, like a Brian Snitker excuse about the layoff. I'm just not buying it anymore. I just can't do it. Too many veteran hitters here. If the Dodgers come out and go flat again, I'm not buying it. The layoff cannot matter like this. Nope. I know people say it's an issue. It's all that, but cannot be the excuse forever. You've got to show up. Padres have had 2 days off here. So it's like, they're cold for 2 days. A little bit removed from it. You just can't lean on that excuse forever. I don't know, chat's licking their lips. They're, hearing me say that there's no excuses. None. I don't want to hear it. We've been doing this too much. 3 years in a row, NLDS stuff. You've got to grind. They've got to do this. I said Dodgers in 4. I'm going to stick to that. Starts tonight. You've got to win a game like with Yamamoto starting. You've got to do it. Ceases, you could say it's tough because the Padres have, pair of co-aces here. You've got to win a game like tonight. Come out, make the bullpen work early for it. It bleeds in tomorrow. You get to get a look at their bullpen early. That's going to get a bleed straight into tomorrow. Get a look at their high leverage arms here. Yeah, people, all the excuses. I can't put that one up there, but Jader Kills, I got you. Same thing. No more excuses. Thoughts, Blake? Anything off the top?
I agree. I think they definitely can't go through the excuse thing again. Like, we had the long layoff, especially when they're talking so much about increasing the intensity in their workout. And then everyone who was at the workouts and saw it didn't see the increased intensity they've been talking about. So if they come out flat again and don't perform well, I think there's going to be a real serious question about what's next, whether that includes front office coaching changes, whatever it ends up being. Like, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and not making the changes necessary. Like, do you need to bring in different clubhouse culture guys? Whatever it ends up being, like, they got to have the intensity this series. They have to have energy. They got to go out there and play well and perform. And if they come out and they play an amazing series where they're losing every game and close battles and stuff, that's one thing. Like, I'm not going to blame them for that. The Padres are a really good team, and as we know, anything can happen in the postseason. But if they just lack energy and they're flat and not performing well, then they definitely have to make real changes.
For sure. All righty, guys. We're going to take this time. We're going to let you toss in some questions. Anything you want us to go through, we'll do it. So all caps question, all caps comment. Bring it in. We've got some time there. We're going to wrap it up with some 3 keys to victory and what Blake and I both want to see. We're just going to shoot from the hip on that. So toss that in. Let me see. We want to put this one up real quick. I saw you star it. It's about watch parties.
Yeah, we can address it. If you want to throw it up there. So we don't have any watch parties planned. Sorry about that. Kind of out of our control here right now. You can keep following us on Twitter. We'll be giving updates and we'll have recap stories out after the game. You didn't hear it here, but I'm sure you can find a stream online. But again, you didn't hear it here. So, yeah.
All right. Put this one up here real quick. Thoughts on Grove over Benny Caps. Does that have to do with him being sent down, or that has nothing to do with it?
I don't know how that actually affects the postseason roster, because when you're first sent down, you can't be called back up for a minimum of 15 days if you're a pitcher. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect the postseason roster. I would just need to clarify on that specific rule, because I don't think it's actually something that's come up before for the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they ended up making that decision, but I don't like it. I think Kasparius is one of the better arms that they could have added that they didn't add. Yep. I wouldn't have added Grove. I don't think he gives much upside or anything for the team. He's more of an innings eater type guy who might come in, but if you're having Grove in any high leverage spot, that's not ideal.
Yeah, totally agree. All right. TQT, who you rooting for? Mets or Phillies? He says, I'm torn. I want the Mets if the Dodgers advance, but the Phillies if the Padres win. I'll root for the Mets just because if my dad is watching, he'll get mad at me if I don't say the Mets. I think the Phillies might be an easier path at this point. I don't know. If the Dodgers play like they're capable of, I'm not really concerned about them facing any team, and it doesn't matter all that much. But I think Mets Dodgers would be fine. Got you. All right. Let's see here. Jonathan, I got you early, buddy. Do you think any starter will give us an outstanding performance, 7 innings? You think that would have to be tonight? I think Flaherty gives up a little bit too much contact. I would say it has to come tonight. Maybe. How about optimistic Yoshinobu does it in Game 5? Wow. You're saying if you say what, in 5, series goes 5 for sure? That was my prediction, so I'm just kind of sticking with it at this point. Let's see here. I think they have starters capable of doing it. Whether it actually happens is a question. Pitchers tend not to pitch deep into games generally in October, aside from a few guys here and there. But, I mean, Yamamoto could do it. Flaherty could do it if everything's working right and his velocity trends back up. So we'll see. What do you make of that? What do you make of that with Jack, with them coming straight out and saying that, he's been working through mechanical stuff here, stuff with his delivery. I don't, if directly, if that's the reason for a little bit of a dip in his velocity, which makes sense for sure. And they're working with some stuff, trying to bring it back in there. How much, concern, or what will we know right away? Is that biggest question there? We'll know pretty soon into it. I do believe it is more related to the mechanics and not an injury or anything, because throughout the entire year, he's had some ups and downs with his velocity, and it has trended down at some points and then trends back up. So if he's just falling out of rhythm mechanically or whatever it is, it makes sense. I do believe it. We'll have to see if the adjustments they made actually
do kick in and hopefully get some of that postseason adrenaline that helps out. So we'll see.
Yeah. 100%. Augustine says, what's the final NLDS series win-loss for the Dodgers? I said Dodgers in 4. You can use your noodle on that one. It's going to be, 3-1.
Yeah,
so
I said Dodgers in 5, so 3-2.
Yep, staying right there. Ep says it'd be cool to see Blake all hyped up. I can count on, one hand the amount of times I've seen Blake overjoyed. I'm telling you guys, I know Blake and I, we go back a bit. See Blake overjoyed, big grin, ear-to-ear grin for sure. That was 2021 playoffs or 2022 playoffs? That was 2022. Yeah, game 1. Trey Turner homered. I remember that. Saw him smile ear to ear. It happens, guys. I promise you. It's real.
Yeah.
Blake's
when Scott gets me a nice Star Wars autograph picture I sent him for my birthday, I'll
like, how much is that? Like $5-6 grand?
Yeah.
All right. This is a good one. You think LA has starting pitching matchup advantage in 4 or 5 games? That's an interesting question, honestly.
I was talking about this a lot. I think it was yesterday. And I think you could make a case that the Dodgers have the advantage in most of the games besides the game 3. I think Yamamoto Cease is kind of a coin flip. You could go either way, so I won't debate too much either way that side. I think Flaherty has the advantage over Darvish. I would say King over Buehler is advantage Padres. Then I would say bullpen game, Knack is an advantage over Martin Perez for the Padres in game 4. And then Yamamoto over whoever, another coin flip or advantage Dodgers. So, yeah, I think the starting pitching for the Padres has been a bit overplayed as being far superior than the Dodgers. I think it's a lot closer with how they match up.
Yeah. All right. Blake, we're going to turn it over to, I really want to hear your 3 keys. 3 keys to victory here today. Just give me 3. Spitball them. Don't care. What do you need?
Good start from Yamamoto. Set the momentum. Keep him in the game. Don't give up too many runs where it just takes out all the momentum from the Dodgers. I would say number 2 is get the Cease early. Get to the Padres bullpen early. Even if you don't capitalize on all your chances immediately, just make Cease work. Get him out of the game. If you get to the Padres bullpen early and make them use their high leverage guys a lot in this game, that sets you up down the line. You got to get their workload up. Number 3, Mookie come through. I think that's important. If they're not going to want to pitch to Ohtani or be cautious with him, you're going to need Mookie to step up in those moments. He wasn't able to last year. We all know his postseason history isn't the best, and there's a lot of focus on him. So if Mookie steps up and comes through, I don't think the Padres are going to have much of a chance this series.
Yeah. Love it. All right, man. My first one's right here. We need a clean first inning. I need Yamamoto to go out there and have a clean 1-2-3. If he doesn't go 1-2-3, I need it to be a 0. I need the offense to see it. I need the fans to see it for myself. That sets up a lot. I want Ohtani stepping up to the plate. I want the offense to be able to look up, say, we're in this game right here. We don't have to scratch and claw immediately. And then I want them to set the script, start early. Start fast, just like you said. I loved your point about if you don't capitalize on every opportunity, you just have to make them work. Be able to get to the bullpen because then that sets up the rest of the series. Yamamoto or the offense. I need them both to work in tandem. If one, I need one to be overwhelming or they need to work together. You got to keep the offense in the game. I want to see Yamamoto provide the offense with a chance to be in the game, where you could put a rally together if it's in the middle innings towards the back end of a C start or, the first reliever that Schilt goes with when he does go to the bullpen. I wanted them to be able to be within 2 runs, 3 runs, something right there. I want it to be 2. I don't want it to be 3. Bloop in a blast changes the game. And for the bullpen wise, I want them to continue their dominance. That's what I want to see. Don't relinquish. Don't walk guys. Just stay right on track. Okay. So everybody, we appreciate you all, the 1,200. Thank you so much across all social media, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you a bunch. We'll be keeping tabs. We've got a post game coming up here tonight. I know it's going to be Jeff. Blake, are you joining Jeff tonight?
Possibly. We're still figuring out who's going to be the extra person.
Working. All right. So that one's working on there.
Yeah.
All right. So, chat, we appreciate you. We've waited all year for this. We've waited all year. You've watched the 162. They had the script writers. We'll see what they've got in store for us. Dodgers get the 1 seed. So we're going to see if that layoff has another thing. But there are no excuses. This is the time where excuses do not matter. Hopefully Yamamoto comes up to play. Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani. This is his time. He's waited for all this childhood stuff. So it's beautiful to see that. A lot of games he's played, and we've seen his fire. But as always, guys, hit the like, subscribe, share it around, ring the notification bell. We will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in, being a fan of Dodger Blue 1958. We've been doing our best this season to bring you the best coverage as honestly as we can, and have some fun. It's good get on here and chop up some ball. Enjoy Game 1 of the National League Division Series between the Dodgers, Padres, Yamamoto versus Dylan Cease. It's going to be great. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon. As always, go Dodgers.